What a well did dream the man. What coming in with some BT14 goodness, guys, because we cooking in the lab like Breaking Bad, and today we're going to be introducing to you Fenriloogamon and my build that I'm going to be rocking into BT14 with. As soon as I get out of this goddamn waiting room, come on November. So if this video for you as I go through my ratios, tech and all that good stuff, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel, you like what you see, let's get to 1k subs, guys. I need to start grinding and plugging. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell because it'd be doing me an absolute solid. So further ado, let's go over to the ratios, eggs and all that good stuff. So right now, this deck, how do I think of this deck? It's pretty much purple Jesmon with a lot more cracked interactions. So let's go over to the 4 of the egg. Is going to be the Balmon from BT14. This Balmon is so nuts in this deck is because effectively it enables you to evo into your Dark Animal / Sons of Chaos traded Digimon. If it's trashed from your hand to trash, then you can play it, well, Digivolve into it, which is just great. Absolutely good, because there's so many interactions that you can utilize in order for you to ramp up pretty quickly, that this is just amazing. So strong. Easy 4 of. If you want to run a 5th egg, Menace if necessary, but realistically, you're going to be popping off like Champagne, and you're going to be just clapping those cheeks pretty swiftly. So going over to the rookies. Rookies, we do want a nice solid 12. But let's go over to the 1, which is going to be essentially your kind of on-play searcher while setting up your trash. And that's going to be your BT9 Dracmon. Really good because you can reveal top 3. You're able to trash 1 card with Undead or Dark Animal with its traits from amongst them. And add 1 card with Undead or Dark Animals and traits. And then basically place the rest underneath your deck, which is just once again great to just kind of set up everything that you need, get the card that you want, and trash what you're going to go into. So definitely very strong. But the good thing about Dracmon here is also the inheritable, that when attacking is almost like an X antibody for this deck, because essentially what you can do is that when this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon with Undead or Dark Animal in its traits from your trash for its dissolution cost. Beautiful. Absolutely winning. Definitely want to run that as a nice solid 3 for sure. Then the one that is actually outside of our archetype is going to be your Ignitemon. It's when attacking ability, give it a swerve. That's not going to be used at all. And if it is, then freaking hell, well played. But its inheritable is really spicy for this deck because essentially it's going to be netting you memory if a Digimon is played by an effect. The good thing about this is that it's an actual all turns effect, which is very strong. We have cards that can trigger on the opponent's turn, which we can utilize, steal a bit of turn, which 1 memory might have been just a freaking 1 memory for them to pop off, but you've sucked that up there because, you know, you triggered one of your effects that can play a Digimon out, which is just perfect. So definitely want to be running that as a nice solid 3 until we get more support with its line. So then the new Fenriloogamon from BT14 is going to be the rookie best in slot that you want to kind of evo into, because start a main, if you have an AG Nagasumi by placing 1 AG Nagasumi from your hand or trash under this Digimon, gain the memory worth. Then inheritable is also similar. When a card with Dark Animal or Sons of Chaos trait is played, getting the memory, nuts. Absolutely nuts. Easy 4 of. This deck is going to be playing those cards out, no doubt. So you're going to be gaining a lot of memory back. Then last in slot is going to be your Pascomon. To be honest, you can slot any freaking rookie at this point. This is a flex spot. I feel like in this day and age, any Digimon can just basically sneeze and blows up a level 3. It's so nutty how Floodgates or anything just a level 3 is just not really the worth. But the thing that I do like about this is it is with an archetype. We can summon it out for free. It does have blocker. Granted, it can't attack, but it has blocker being the thing here, which is going to be helpful for us to be defensive. So we do run that there at 2. You can run Gazimon, you can run Psychomon. It's completely up to you, depending on your meta. So that concludes for the rookies 12. Going over to the champs, we do run a solid 10 as standard. So we're going into Fangmon, looking like Melina from Mortal Kombat 1. And let me tell you, this card is pretty nutty in this deck, because it's got an on-play and on when attacking as well. Return one purple Digimon card from with Dark Animal in its traits from your trash to hand, and then trash one card from hand. The thing I like about this deck is that you trash in a lot of cards from hand, so we can utilize that kind of phrasing and also get additional benefits from doing that. Also, our actual egg is going to benefit from that, because we can essentially trash one of our ultimates, trigger its effect to then go into our said ultimate that we trashed. And that's obviously when attacking as well, so essentially being somewhat like X antibody in a way that you can obviously trigger it, go into your next level, and also then have more DP depending on who you're swinging into. You just got great ways to execute more plays whilst just facilitating your game plan. So really, really good stuff right there. We do run that there at 3. Then going over to the main champion is going to be Loogamon. Loogamon, very solid right here. Definitely run that as a 4 of 6k DP, beautiful. Definitely a good DP threshold you want to be at, because 5k, quite a few inheritables can just pop a 5k, so 6k is gorgeous. And obviously, so when attacking is by trashing one card from your hand, draw one. Beautiful. We have once again cards in our deck that we do gain more draws from trashing from hand. And then if this Digimon has AG Nagasumi in its distribution source, gain 1 memory. Whoa! Means that you're going to be going into your ultimate essentially for a digivolution cost at 2, which is just once again really strong. Then your turn before it's inheritable is that when a card with Dark Animal / Sons of Chaos is played, gain memory. Just once again, you're going to be doing that. You're going to be gaining a lot of memory. It's perfect. Then we go into the card that's going to be pretty cracked in this deck, and that's going to be your Black Gatomon. Black Gatomon is a Dark Animal, so we can actually play this out. It does have Rush, which is gorgeous, and it also has an invincible with Retaliation. Ideally, you do not want to be Evo into this. Cost of 3 is pretty steep, but playing this out for free is pretty much winning. So without a doubt, easy 3 of. Getting this in your trash early is going to be beneficial for you. So that concludes the champions. We run a solid 10. Going over to the ultimates. Ultimates, we have got a bit of something a bit spicy here. A lot of lists do run Chimeramon for a good reason. You know, we are spawning a lot of Digimon out, but I do like what this particular Digimon can be providing us right here, because let me tell you, when this Digimon got originally released, it did jack, boop, it did nothing. I barely saw the live play. But I feel like the thing that I like about this card is the fact that it has when trashing from hand, is that you can actually tuck this under one of your purple Digimon. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the Digimon that essentially triggered the trashing. It can just be any one that you want there, and then you're able to capitalize on that inheritable of Retaliation, which is just really nice. I mean, giving your main stack Retaliation, if you didn't have Retaliation before from the Black Gatomon, is pretty awesome. It means that it makes the opposition think, damn, I can't actually just swing into it, I can't raid into it, because I could possibly be deleted off the back of it. So very saucy stuff right here. Also, it's when attacking effect is quite nice. So obviously you can trash a card from hand, and then you give this Digimon 3000 DP to the end of the turn. Always good if you want to be if you want to be aggressive. It is an undead, so it's not quite Dark Animal, but we can utilize Drachmon's inheritable to actually evo into this if we have to. We would miss the when attacking trigger for that, but regardless, if we do need to go aggressive, you know, we can evo into this if we have to. And also, you know, if we do have essentially X antibody in our inheritable, we can also ramp that up there too. So really good stuff with that card. Like I say, Chimeramon is a best in slot kind of card, but I think I do like Squirmamon, and I think it does have a place in this deck. So going over to obviously the usual suspects is going to be your main kind of level 5s. Obviously the Fenriloogamon, which is just pretty much best in slot that you want to evo into. It's the card that you want to see because, one, it kind of facilitates the swarm aspect of this deck. Evo for free, 8000 DP, very strong. Also X antibody, so obviously keep that in mind. All this line is X antibody, so we can obviously utilize that option. But when Digivolving, you may play one level 3 or lower Digimon card with Dark Animal / Sons of Chaos trait from your hand without paying its cost, which is great. If it has AG in its Digivolution source, you can increase the level by 1, which is also going to be good. It means I can get level 4 out. We've got we've got Black Gatomon there with the rush, really heavy aggression that we can do here. So this is the reason why you want to be just kind of seeing this card quite often. The thing that is good is that it's a when Digivolving effect, so we can obviously be aggressive from our champion level and kind of still get that swarm out. And then obviously if we combo that up with our X-Antibody option, we can still get that when Digivolving effect. Granted, we'll miss the when attacking, because that's already essentially happened, but we can trigger the when attacking from the X-Antibody and go to basically our Mega, and then get its when Digivolving effect. So really good ways to kind of, once again, ramp up really quickly, leaving your opponent in a bit of a oh shit scenario. And we've just got a big ass board, which is great. And then as well, the ring that makes this card even nutty, which I'm very surprised they actually printed this, is your turn once per turn. When you play a Digimon card with Dark Animal or Sons of Chaos trait, you may unsuspend this Digimon, which is just wow, Bandai. Freaking hell, you know how freaking the Savior Pokemon hit the ban list? There we go. That's anything unsuspend with ways to get additional checks in is pretty nutty right there. So definitely a 4 of, guys. Definitely a 4 of. Then we go to Fenriloogamon. So Fenriloogamon it's a good card, probably not the one that you want to kind of go into at most times, but it's a great way of removal, great way of getting your draws, which is nice here, and a good way of kind of tapping your Analog Youth there as well, because end of your turn, delete this Digimon, and that's not optional. Like, it literally says delete your Digimon. You may delete your Digimon, and draw 2, which is nice. Nice a bit of draw. Then you may return one Lugamon from your trash to your hand. So the thing that's good with this is that interaction with using your Analog Youth. When this dies, you're going to be able to suspend those, which is going to be good for you. You're going to have a rookie that you can actually, catch your egg, Lugamon in freaking Raisin. Done. That's going to be just nice for that nice bit of aggression, ensuring that, depending on the game state, you can push out next turn. Beautiful. Which is glorious. Then on deletion, you may trash up to 3 Dark Animal or Sons of Chaos trait cards from your hands. The key thing that we need to take away here is that it's cards, not Digimon. So you could trash AG if you wanted to, because it's got Sons of Chaos trait, which is just nice. It's a nice way to essentially facilitate this requirement if there's a big body, because its next bit is then delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon. For each card you trash by this effect, increase the level by 1. So obviously if it's level 6, trash 3. Level 5, trash 2. Level 4, trash 1. Very strong. I think, obviously, depending on RNG and how it goes and what the game state's like, the thing that I do like about X-Antibody in this particular build is the fact that we can kind of cheat our way around the end of turn effect if we have to. The perfect play would be to obviously capitalize on this and get the maximum pop off, but there might be sometimes you might be just being out tempoed and you just need to freaking get into your top end in order to just do stuff. So we do obviously do have that option, but I do like what this card facilitates, but I don't think it's a 4 of right there. So that concludes for our Ultimates rocking 8. So going over to our Megas. Megas, obviously we've only got one wave of support, and obviously our main boss sponsor is going to be your Fenriloogamon, which is just a fantastic card by itself. It's beautiful. I mean, the artist, one of my favorite artists, boy don't miss. Boy does not miss. He's not missed once. But this card is nuts. It's correct at what it does. When Digivolving effect is great, because it means that when you go into this card, the opponent once again has to answer it. Like, has to answer it or they lose. Being the thing, because when Digivolving, And it's an Evo for 4, but because we're going to be gaining so much memory back from our inheritables and so forth, and also then gaining more memory because effectively we don't pass turn until they're still the opponent's on 3 or more memory. You may play 1 level 4 Digimon or lower Digimon with Dark Animal or Sons of Chaos trait from your trash without paying its cost. If AG is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, increase the number of Digimon you can play with this effect by 2. So realistically, you're going to be having a board of 3 cards, which is going to be nuts. Well, 4 cards effectively, including this one. Going to be pretty nuts. And then, when attacking, by deleting one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon. And then for each Digimon you have in play, increase the level by 1. So once again, because you'll have 3 cards, depending on Evo, 3 to 2 cards, you're going to be popping at least a level 5 or 6 Digimon, which is just, once again, pretty strong. Then your turn ends only when your opponent has 3 or more memory. So if they've got a memory setter out, you are absolutely capitalizing on this. If they've not got a memory setter out, you've then given them pretty much 3 to 4 memory, depending on how you're finishing that turn. But 9 times out of 10, this boy is going through that security unless you have a bomb in there. Because AG is pretty nuts on what it provides, which obviously we will cover over. But definitely a 4 of for sure. Then going over to the 2 other staples here is going to be your Menace Ace. Because we do spawn out Digimon, which are going to be at like level 4. We can easily go into a level 3, which is not a problem. And then level 5, which is not a problem. And then we can sit there chilling. You're just like, yo, we setting that bad boy up. And then they'll be like, it's a trap! And it's like, boy, going into that freaking Menace Ace when you're going to try and swing. And I'm going to go steal that turn. Because I can trash up to 3 cards from my hand. And then I gain a memory for each card trashed. Depending on what I've trashed there as well, we do obviously have effects that we gain benefit from trashing stuff, which is great. Absolutely fantastic. We could give something on the fly retaliation from Askel Greymon. Just like, yo boy, trashed it, took, easy does it. Oh, you about to swing to that? Yeah, it's got retaliation, my guy. So yeah, it's very spicy of what we can be doing with this card. I feel like it's definitely got a nice, good, solid place. And then obviously when attacking by trashing 1 card from your hand, once again, following the theme, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. So it's just like, God, man, this card is mental. Obviously, we've got to take into consideration the overflow. If this does get removed from play or bounced or deleted or whatever, I do lose 3 memory. 4 memory, correction, which is obviously quite detrimental there. But regardless, very strong for this deck, works quite well. Then, I mean, D Brigade's having its debut. We need a way to freaking stop that wideboard mirror. Defect's just going to cover that nicely. It's just going to be covering that beautifully. I don't need to explain what it does. It's a menace for a reason. It's still a menace. And yes, definitely want to be running at least 1 in the next format because it's just going to be hellish. So that concludes for the Digimon. In total, we do run a grand total of 36. So then let's go over to the Tamers and Options. So Tamers, AG Nagasumi. This boy got that drip on lock. I swear, I love the fit. Boy's hoodied up, ready to go. But the thing I do like about this card is its inheritables nuts. What it provides for the deck is pretty crazy. And I just like the overall concept of Mind Link. It just seems really, really fresh and really cool. So obviously Proctum Security plays itself. That's pretty standard right now. But obviously for the new players, that's what happens. Starter main. If your opponent has a Digimon, gain your memory, which is great. If you have more than 1 AG out, winning right there. And then main, you're able to Mind Link to 1 Digimon with a Dark Animal or Sons of Chaos trait, which is once again very solid right here. Then it's inheritable. This is where it gets really crazy. All turns. While this Digimon has Dark Animal or Sons of Chaos trait, this Digimon gains Alliance, which is very strong, and Blocker. So, for people who don't know what Alliance does, Alliance enables you to get an additional security check, and then you're able to take the DP of the Digimon that you've allianced with. So, for example, if my Fenriloogamon is currently at 12, I've obviously got AG in the stack, I'll alliance with my Black Gatomon, for example, who's at 6k. It means I get 18k in total, like my overall DP, and then I'll be able to get an additional security check there as well, which is pretty much swinging for most things, or swinging over most things, which is just pretty nuts. Obviously, depending on, I don't have to just go to Black Gatomon. I could obviously go to an Ultimate, which has obviously a higher DP. Or, man, I'll just utilize freaking Defex and get additional 15k DP. It's nutty how Alliance works in this deck. It works as a mechanic. And yes, AG has it pretty much built in as inevitable. Blocker is also strong as well. It means that we can block attacks, block lethal. Yeah, pretty nuts. And then end of turn, and this is all turns, you may play one AG from Digimon's dissolution source without paying its cost. And the fact that this is all turns is really cool. Because obviously, if we have Fenriloogamon out and we're basically unsuspended and we pass turn, ideally we don't want to trigger its end of turn because then we're at a blocker. So we keep the blocker, the opponent does its thing, and at the end of the opponent's turn, we could then unmind link AG out, meaning that we can get AG start of main to essentially gain the memory, and then we can tuck him back underneath to obviously our start to then obviously gain alliance and all that good stuff. So AG, easy 4-off. Like, run less, don't know what you're doing. Don't know what you're doing. Analog Youth, pretty nuts in this deck. 2-drop searcher, banging, facilitator to obviously get your trash lined up, beautiful. All turns, steal turn, possibly, depending on how many Analog Youths you have out, because if you delete a Digimon who's level 5 or higher with Digillusion cards underneath, you're able to suspend this Digimon, gain a memory, and you're also able to hatch an egg if it's obviously an empty space. Which is very powerful in this deck. Obviously, we have ways to just essentially end like Fenriloogamon, blam, just delete itself, and then grab Lugamon from trash, suspend these, gain memory, rebuild in the back, winning. Honestly, very cracked how he is in this deck. Definitely run that as a 3. I think 4 might be a little bit clunky, but I think 3 is just a nice sweet spot. So going over to the options. Options, you can flip it how you want, but I feel like Underworld's Call has definitely got a slot here. Easily got a slot. Play for 4, and the thing that I do like about this is the fact that if it's trash from hand, using one of the effects, I can draw a card, which is just great. So if it's just like, if I don't need this card right now, blam, I'll just get an additional draw, which is fantastic. But then its main is that you may play one level 4 or lower purple Digimon from your trash without paying its cost. So with this deck, there's obviously a lot of memory gain based on if I'm playing a card from trash or from effect. So that means that it's just reducing this cost. I'm playing a Digimon. I could be playing a freaking champion like Black Gatomon for a reduced cost of 2, meaning that I've got maximum worth right there, and then Black Gatomon can just swing for game because it's got rush. Also, it actually, if propped from security, it can trigger the main, meaning that it actually works well with Ignitemons inheritable, meaning that I can gain memory, play a Digimon from my trash, which could be a Pashkomon, which is then going to be a blocker, which is obviously might prevent lethal. Might be an absolute clutch save right there. Honestly, I feel like I could bump that up to 3 if I wanted to. Like, I really could, but I do think that X Antibody has a good solid slot. And I think with Wisdom training, these training boosts are just going to be freaking nuts in this whole BT14 meta. It's gonna be crazy. The thing I really like about this though is the fact that it can actually help search out my options if needs be, because I can real top 2 and I can add 1 purple card, not necessarily Digimon, and then obviously grab 1 and return the rest to the bottom of the deck, which is great. And the thing that just makes this card or these training boosts pretty nuts is when I release the delay, when I do the delay, I'm able to Digivolve into a purple level Digimon. When I do so, I'm able to reduce the cost by 2, which is massive. I mean, evoing for free into a champion is just nuts. Evo into a freaking ultimate for 1 is pretty crazy. Then possibly Evo into 1 to 2 to 3 into a mega is sick. So these trading boosts are going to be a menace. Going to be an absolute menace right there. It's going to be a lot of floodgates that are going to be trying to prevent these trading boosts from being fully utilized, because yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, but in this deck it's going to work really, really well. So we do run that there at 3. And then lastly, we do run the X Antibody. This is probably one of the cards that I've not seen many lists run. But I feel like it does have a good slot in this deck, because most of the Loogamon line are X Antibody. I'm like, what? Let's not tap into one of the busted cards right here. Because essentially what we can do, we can ramp up whilst being really offensive pretty quickly. And really do some mad plays, because obviously when you're going up the lines, the when Digivolving effects are still going to trigger. You'll miss some of the when attacking effects off the Digimon that you evo into, but it's when attacking effect in terms of its inheritable can easily ramp us up to Fenriloogamon. And the thing is that Fenriloogamon ideally doesn't pass over turn until the opponent's at 3 or more. So this play is pretty easily achievable, building a wide board and leaving your opponent in a situation where, like, I wasn't prepared for that. Like, I did not see this play coming. Obviously, we have the egg, we have Dracmon in inheritable, so we just have super ways to obviously ramp up. We're gonna have obviously our trainings out. Obviously, we have to control the timings of when we kind of execute these plays and the trainings and whatever. But regardless, it's going to be pretty hot. It's inheritable. It's obviously triggered from security, gain a memory, and then put this card to my hand, winning. Yeah, I feel like X Antibody, I don't know why people aren't playing this. If I'm honest, I think it's a solid card. Granted, there's no way for us to actually grab said card, but this deck has a lot of draw, a lot of draw behind it. So I feel like we're definitely going to be running to it. It's not our main strat by any stretch, but having it can really, really ramp up this deck so fast you would not believe. But on that note, guys, let me know in the comments what you think to the Fenriloogamon deck profile. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope everyone's had a good time opening the reprint set there as well. I've seen a lot of videos. The print qualities are pretty nice, but in all honesty, I just don't think the cards are going to do anything in terms of impacting our meta whatsoever. I think BT14 onwards is going to be the way to go. But I know people like Gamamon. I know people like Jellymon and Argomon. So, you know, mad respect to the people that do. But guys, that's your boy D Dread off the mic.